After dispatching a warship in a show of force near Japan and the Philippines, China's leadership has quietly unveiled a new weapon system, a development that analysts say is meant to intimidate regional rivals while signaling Beijing's readiness to escalate if challenged. China's latest covert capability is reported to be a massive platform roughly 120 meters long, concealed deep within specialized facilities or submarines, a design choice that allows it to remain hidden until activated and complicates foreign efforts to track or counter it. New satellite imagery and sensor data have revealed the first public glimpses of these secretive Chinese submarines, offering analysts fresh evidence of Beijing's expanding undersea program and generating renewed scrutiny of the platform's size, armament, and strategic role. Chinese leader Xi Jinping's new weapon is being touted by some commentators as a tool to surveil and track adversaries with minimal detection during a potential conflict over Taiwan, a capability that could alter the balance of information and maneuver in a high-stakes maritime confrontation. The People's Liberation Army appears to be widening its operational horizons to prepare to fight multiple rivals at once, restructuring forces and investing in platforms and systems designed to sustain prolonged operations across several maritime and aerial theaters simultaneously. Japan, the Philippines, and China have locked horns over proposed maritime border arrangement between allied states, a dispute that has intensified diplomatic friction and prompted both military posturing and urgent consultations among regional partners. Satellite images have captured what appears to be a previously unknown Chinese submarine featuring an entirely new hull design, a discovery that has prompted fresh questions about Beijing's undersea modernization and intentions beneath the waves. Researcher H.I. Sutton reported the initial details for Naval News, and those findings were subsequently cited by Militani, providing the first open-source acknowledgement of the platform and drawing immediate attention from naval analysts worldwide. No official information about the submarine has been released by Chinese authorities, so the public assessment relies heavily on classified-sourced imagery, open-source intelligence, and expert technical analysis to infer the vessel's characteristics and possible role. Observers note the submarine's main features include a highly streamlined nose, an X-shaped stern control configuration, and a notably low silhouette above the waterline, design elements that together suggest priorities of stealth and maneuverability. The vessel was reportedly built without a traditional superstructure, a novel trait that analysts say would likely reduce hydrostatic drag and hydrodynamic resistance, improving both speed and acoustic discretion when submerged. Satellite imagery dated May 31st and June 1st captured the submarine, according to reports, giving precise timestamps that allowed analysts to track its presence and movements near Chinese shipbuilding facilities. In the images, the submarine was moored beside a large barge outside the JN shipyard in Shanghai, a location known for heavy industrial activity and for supporting complex ship construction logistics and outfitting operations. The JN shipyard has a reputation for building large surface combatants and also produces conventional, non-nuclear, submarines, making it a plausible site for constructing or finishing advanced undersea platforms in tandem with surface ship programs. Analysts additionally flagged that a second submarine may have been launched at the Haludio shipyard in the Bohai Sea, a detail that, if confirmed, would indicate a broader production surge across multiple Chinese naval yards. Open-source speculation suggests the new submarine could be nuclear-powered and roughly 120 meters in length with a beam of about 10 to 11 meters, dimensions that, if accurate, would place it among China's largest undersea vessels and imply significant range, endurance, and payload capacity. China has responded to Japan-Philippines boundary talks with expanded sea patrols, increasing the presence of maritime security vessels to assert its claims and to signal displeasure at discussions it views as encroaching on waters Beijing considers linked to Taiwan. Chinese Coast Guard vessels carried out patrols in waters east of Taiwan on June 1st, moving through strategic sea lanes and conducting visible operations intended to deter rival activity and monitor approaches to the island. The development was reported by the South China Morning Post on June 1st, which cited official and open-source tracking that documented the uptick in Chinese maritime movements around the sensitive area. China launched the countermove after Japan and the Philippines began discussing waters east of Taiwan, treating those negotiations as a challenge to Beijing's asserted maritime rights and responding with patrols and warnings to reassert control. Beijing views Taiwan as part of China and therefore lays claim to the waters around the territory, a stance that underpins Chinese maritime activity and shapes its responses to any foreign presence or bilateral deals in the region. Speculation of an impending Taiwan invasion has increased since Trump's recent trip to China, with analysts warning that high-profile diplomatic engagements and public rhetoric can feed uncertainty and accelerate precautionary military posturing across the Taiwan Strait. Xi Jinping openly warned the US against interfering over Taiwan, cautioning that outside intervention risks sparking conflict and urging Washington to respect what Beijing describes as its core interests and sovereign claims. The spokesperson of China's Coast Guard said, and I quote, "This is a necessary action taken in response to Japan and the Philippines' unilateral announcement of the launch of maritime boundary delimitation negotiations in waters east of China's Taiwan Island, which seriously infringes upon China's territorial sovereignty and maritime rights and interests. We urge Japan and the Philippines to immediately cease all illegal actions that infringe upon China's sovereignty and rights," unquote. China said it would continue to strengthen control over relevant waters, pledging to increase patrols, enforcement activities, and maritime presence to assert its claims and deter what it views as unauthorized foreign actions. Beijing added that it would safeguard territorial sovereignty and maritime rights, vowing to use diplomatic, legal, and operational measures to protect what it describes as core national interests and to resist any attempts to undermine its jurisdiction at sea. Japan and the Philippines agreed to delimit the maritime boundary of their exclusive economic zones and continental shelf, a diplomatic step intended to clarify jurisdiction over resources, navigation rights, and maritime responsibilities in a strategically sensitive area near Taiwan. Beijing had lodged protests with Tokyo and Manila and condemned the talks as illegal and void, denouncing the bilateral negotiations as a violation of China's claimed rights and warning that such moves would provoke a firm response to defend its maritime assertions.
The maritime areas proposed for delimitation by Japan and the Philippines are located east of Taiwan Island, China. In accordance with China's domestic laws and international law, including the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, China possesses an exclusive economic zone and continental shelf in these waters. Japan and the Philippines have arbitrarily initiated so-called maritime boundary delimitation negotiations, which seriously infringe upon China's maritime rights and interests and constitute a grave violation of international law, including UNCLOS, and the basic norms of international relations. China expresses strong dissatisfaction and resolute opposition to this, and has lodged solemn representations with Japan and the Philippines respectively. China solemnly declares that the so-called delimitation negotiations by Japan and the Philippines are completely illegal and invalid, and will not affect China's claims to rights in the waters east of Taiwan Island or the exercise of its legitimate rights and interests. China urges Japan and the Philippines to immediately cease any actions that infringe upon China's maritime rights and interests, and to take concrete actions to safeguard regional peace and stability.
Japan and the Philippines do not share sea boundaries, meaning their maritime jurisdictions are not directly adjacent, but expert analyses warn that new seabed claims from both capitals could nonetheless overlap and create contentious zones requiring careful negotiation. Both Japan and the Philippines are looking to extend their continental shelves beyond 230 miles, filings and preparatory mapping suggest, a move meant to secure additional seabed rights for resource exploration and legal entitlements under the law of the sea. The potentially overlapping zone sits to the east of Taiwan, the South China Morning Post reports, placing the disputed area in a strategically sensitive maritime corridor where multiple states' claims and military interests converge. A researcher at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences said, and I quote, "Taiwan Island's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf also fall within this zone. These are China's rights, and they are not something the two sides can negotiate between themselves. Since they, Japan and the Philippines, are negotiating in a tripartite overlapping zone, we can move further to advance our jurisdiction over the waters east of Taiwan. Since the other side is going to take reckless and destructive actions, we will inevitably introduce new countermeasures. If these waters are carved up between Japan and the Philippines, it would clearly harm the interests of the people on Taiwan Island," unquote. Tokyo and Manila have also agreed to begin talks on an intelligence sharing pact, signaling deeper security cooperation that could include information exchanges on maritime activity, surveillance, and regional threats to improve situational awareness and joint responses. Japan said talks with the Philippines on supplying Abukuma-class destroyer escort ships will be accelerated, indicating a push to strengthen the Philippine Navy's patrol and escort capabilities through quicker negotiations on transfer terms, timelines, and possible training or logistic support.